You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Packs podcast. And this is episode 489 for Sunday, the 11th of February, 2024.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Well, this week is a Sunday morning. It's 8:30am in the UK. I can't even work out what it is in Australia, but I have my wonderful friends from Dis Down Under, Kat and Lewis. Hello, guys.
Hello from the future, Michelle. How are you going?
Good day, Michelle.
It's so confusing. I don't know what time your zone you're on. I know your weather is completely the opposite as ours. As you're sending me messages about you're literally melting in the sun, I'm actually melting because of the snow.
Yeah, I know. It's just like we're polar opposites, aren't we?
Absolutely. It is what it is, and we're not here to complain about the weather. We're here to complain about Disney. No, sorry, celebrate Disney, not complain.
I see what you did there, Michelle.
Yeah.
I like to complain that I'm too far from Disney, so, there's that.
Well, you guys are the furthest place in the whole wide world away from any Disney.
Yeah, we're the furthest. I think, is that our claim to fame, Lou, that Perth is the most isolated capital city in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the jungle drums are rumbling right now. Disney are changing from Shop Disney to the Disney Store. People are wondering, is this going to mark the return of physical stores for Disney? What do you think?
I'm really curious to see whether that might happen, because I think that there is it feels like a bit of a change, that people are more interested in seeing something and having that tactile experience and being able to see things in person rather than just click and wait for the postie to arrive.
Well, if it's anything like the UK, the postie never turns up, so hey-ho.
That's a good factor, actually, and things getting lost in the post and that kind of thing. I guess the thing for Disney is that with physical shops, you always have that, what do they call it? Is it shrinkage? That allowance that they make for, theft and things getting broken in the shop and that kind of thing. So stock that doesn't actually get purchased per se. But yeah, it's got to be a very expensive exercise to be running the postage and everything like that for Shop Disney, or whatever they're going to call it now.
What do you think, Lewis? Because I know you are a massive collector of things, and me myself as a collector, a lot of the things I collect have pattern match. So for example, things like a Dooney and Burke bag or like a Loungefly, I want that perfect placement. What about yourself?
I like the tactile experience of going to a shop and like being able to browse and pick things up and buy the right size T-shirt. I think those things are important.
And making sure the box is in perfect condition.
Yes, that's true.
If you're going to house it in the box, you might as well have a perfectly in nick, not torn edges kind of thing.
Because if you've got anything collectible, you want to keep the box it came in. Otherwise, basically, the thing's worthless. So yeah, you always need to make sure you get a good box as well.
So slight digression here. I went to an antique store yesterday, and in this antique store they had a big cardboard box of mint in box Thomas the Tank Engine trains. Now,
Cute.
When Kieran was a little child, he used to be obsessed with those metal Thomas the Tank trains. He literally had them everywhere. He couldn't eat unless they were in a line in front of them. He always had to have one in his hand. And I literally have, a box that A4 copier paper comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have about 6 of them full of these metal trains. Admittedly, they're not mint in box. But some of these trains in this antique shop were £65.
Wow.
I know. And I'm like thinking, how much stash have I got in the bottom of my wardrobe?
Yeah.
Maybe it could fund a Disney cruise.
Well, it sounds like if you've got that many boxes of them.
I wouldn't get too excited though, because generally speaking, like if you ever watch Antique Roadshow, they'll go like, oh, now this thing here, like if it was in perfect condition, it would be worth £1,000.
Yeah.
But because it's got this crack in it, it's worth $5. It's like,
Yeah.
Unfortunately. collectors tend to be very picky about the collectibles they buy. So if it's not mint in box and it's a bit roughed up by a kid, then it's not going to be as worth as much, unfortunately.
True. And he did want them saving if he ever has offspring in the future, which I'm holding over his head because it's like, come on, Kieran, you are now 24 this year. You need to have offspring because I can't keep these in the bottom of my wardrobe forever. Anyway, moving away from that. But yeah, I totally agree about the sizing because with Disney store clothes, sometimes I could be a small, sometimes I could be an extra large. It depends on which place they've had them made.
Definitely. There's a big variation, isn't there, between the Disney park merchandise in the US versus the things that we've looked at in particularly in the Asian parks. There's been a very big difference in sizing.
That makes a perfect segue there, Kat, to talking about travelling, possibly to the Asian parks, because one reason I asked you guys to come on the show, because I know that you are busily booking up lots of Disney travel. So I'm really going to hand the mantle over to say, where in the world will you be going next?
Well, you know us, and we really did get into that whole thing of doing 2 Disney trips a year. And we're kind of making up for a little bit of lost time during that period where we couldn't travel. And then travel has been very expensive. And I'm not saying it's like cheap to travel now, but it's a little bit less expensive than what it was and a little bit less risk factor and stuff. So we decided that we would really seriously look at going back to Japan, which also means that we generally end up traveling through Hong Kong just because it's kind of an easy way for us to get up there. So, of course, we're going to do Hong Kong as well. So the trip essentially is going to be us going down to Osaka and we'll do Universal. We've got a couple of city stays that we'll do and then we'll make our way up to Tokyo. And we're booked in for how many nights, Lou? We're going to Tokyo, the Tokyo Disney Resort.
I think it was like 4 or 5 nights, something like that.
I think 4 nights.
4 nights, right.
Yeah. And so really looking forward to getting back there. There's a couple of new attractions that we've missed out on during this time. So sort of get to go and do some favourites, except there are going to be some closures, which I'll get Lewis to run us through in a moment. But we get to go on the new Beauty and the Beast attraction, which is a trackless ride system. I think that you've discussed on your show previously, Michelle.
Love a good trackless system.
Oh, isn't it gorgeous? And it does. Like I've tried to not watch like full ride throughs, but I've seen a little bit of the odd image and just little snippets of footage. I'm really excited to go on that attraction because I think it's going to be really something quite special. And so, yeah, we're going to be heading over there. And it was kind of interesting because we had to make a few decisions. So obviously we've never been to Universal Japan in our lives. So, and we've never been down to Osaka. So although I'm kind of confused because there's a bit of variation that you hear in the pronunciation of Osaka, because I think it's more like Osaka, like the way that people say it. Lou?
Well, you've been saying Osaka, and most people say Osaka, so
yeah,
but that's in English. I suppose in Japanese it might be something completely different.
Yeah, but a lot of the Japanese people that reside in Japan have been saying it with the emphasis on the last A, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, regardless of that, so we haven't been down there before, and we had to work out where we were going to stay. So that was a bit of an adventure, wasn't it? It
was, yes. Yeah, because we were this is down in Osaka to go to Universal Japan. And yes, because there's quite a few different resorts there to choose from. So it was a hard decision to make.
So the decision ended up being pretty much go to the one that's closest to the parks.
Yeah.
Because the variation in prices, Michelle, wasn't really too dramatic, we found. Like there wasn't that big difference of there being sort of budget versus your more
Deluxe.
sort of deluxe places to stay. It was more about the rooms that you had within the resort. So that was quite interesting. But we picked location because when it comes down to going on your travels, your time becomes the premium because you're only there for so many days. And so, yeah, we thought, well, front of the park hotel, that's us.
Well, the interesting thing as well with the Universal Japan is that once you're in, and you can't get passed out and come back in again. So you're kind of like there. So it makes sense to be as close as possible, get in there as early as possible, stay there as late as possible, then be not too far away from the park to get back to the hotel.
True. That's very true. And oddly limiting because it means that you can't go, we might go to this place they've got a version of City Walk. And so you can't just go, we'll go out there and have some lunch and then come back into the parks.
Yeah, it's a weird system. Like, why wouldn't you allow people like to get a pass out? It's just very strange.
Do you know if that's always been the case, or is that something that they brought in for like COVID?
Not sure.
Okay.
It's very interesting that they do it that way, as you say, because they'd want to maximise the profits. But maybe keeping you in the park is keeping you in the park.
Yeah, maybe there's some things that are simplified for them, like having less gate staff and things like that throughout the day. Maybe that's simplified. I'm really kind of perplexed by the whole concept of it in a way, but it is what it is. But we're really looking forward to it because they do have that Super Mario Brothers area, so we get to go and experience that. So pretty excited to go and do that and just enjoy a different kind of Universal experience because we've done both coasts in America, so it'll be good to do that.
Very excited for you because at the moment with the Orlando theme parks there's a lot of back and forth between Disney Universal, even on their social media campaigns where some are seeing Universal are trying to attract more of the Disney crowd over because of some of the how can we say, restrictive practices that had been happening, such as having to make those reservations in advance and you can't park up till after a certain time. Now, I know that's been relaxed to a point, but Universal have got lots of attractions opening up. So it's really good for the competitive side to make sure Disney are on the game.
It is, yeah. That competition actually is really effective, particularly in that Orlando area. It seems to have really sort of pushed Disney to sort of get their skates on with making things like just refreshing things a little bit more and you know, bringing new things because people don't want to go back. It's actually, no, I don't know whether this is actually a great statement to make. I was going to say people don't like going back and just doing the same attractions over and over again. But don't you think Disney crowds are funny that they get really like they've got this degree of like nostalgia for a lot of the attractions and they get really annoyed if something gets changed or shut down or is completely removed, but at the same time we always want something new to do.
Even worse, when a Disney fan who doesn't go on the attraction gets annoyed when they change the attraction, ask, "Oh, what was the last time you went on that?" "I don't know, 10 years ago." It's like you've really got to update things, keep things fresh and current, and that's how you get the casual audience coming through.
Well, that's how you get people like us coming back. So, I mean, for us, Tokyo was a must-do that we had, because we wanted to go back. We've only been there the one time, and so it was a must-do for us. But going to Hong Kong was a definite must-do because, of course, they've got the new Frozen Land that we get to go and visit. So, whereas maybe if they hadn't updated anything, we might not have bothered going to Hong Kong because it's a fairly compact park, and once you've done things, you've done them.
Well, yeah, if it was the same, if there was no new castle, if there was no Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Ride, if there was no new Frozen Land, then it would be like, well, what's the point of going back there again? So yeah definitely. So we might
have stopped off at an additional city instead. But going back to Tokyo, I did say that there was some rides that were going to be down getting some maintenance and things. I'm guessing so that everything's up and running when their new area, which is called Fantasy Springs, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yay, I got it right for once. I always get it wrong, Michelle. So when that opens up, I guess they want to make sure that everything's up and running, because I'm guessing that they're going to be expecting huge crowds.
Yeah, so unfortunately, while we're there, one of our favourite rides, Pooh's Honey Hunt, that's going to be shut. That's shut from January the 26th to May 24th, which is around about when Golden Week is. Also, unfortunately, Big Thunder Mountain is going to be shut as well, which is unfortunate. And then in, have I got Disney Sea? Tokyo Disney Sea, the Journey to the Center of the Earth is not shut, which is good because that's a really cool ride.
Thank you for telling us what's not shut.
Sinbad's Storybook Adventure is going to be shut, which is sad. I thought there was going to be more stuff that's shut, but
no, I thought it was only 3, maybe 4 attractions. I just couldn't bring them to mind.
But their Space Mountain has been permanently closed because that's being reimagined to a new version of Space Mountain.
Well, my understanding is that it's being pretty much raised and that they're going to build a whole new thing.
Exactly, yeah. Which is good because they're
so it's not a reimagining. Yeah. It's just like a whole do-over.
Well, if it's a new Space Mountain, it'll be a reimagining.
Okay, fair enough.
But their Space Mountain was arguably the worst Space Mountain in the world because it was the Disneyland version of Space Mountain, but it was the Disneyland version of Space Mountain before they put the in-ride audio into it. So it was a silent ride.
It was so weird. It was so creepy, Michelle, honestly. Like, I've never been on such a bizarre attraction.
It was just boring. It was like, you get there, that was just, I'm never doing that again. And it's to think that it was in Disneyland for so long before they put the on-ride audio. So, yeah.
The on-ride audio just takes it up another level, and that's what I enjoy when they do that over at Walt Disney World and they add that in. One thing that I do know that will be open during your Tokyo, Hong Kong trip, beverage, food and merch.
Always, Michelle, always.
The land of the cute food.
Have you got your eyes on a few things already?
I haven't been looking, but I am sure you will find some super cute things. And who can resist those super cute dumplings? They look amazing. Have they mochi?
Yeah, mochi. The green alien mochi, like that's so lovely. It's weird though because it's it's an odd thing to eat. Like, they're not something that you'd eat like have it every day, because I don't think it's yummy, but it's something that's quite stodgy, I guess.
I like it. I think it's
no. I don't like it, but I wouldn't have it every day.
Yeah, I like the fact that the flavors in them, you get like different flavors: chocolate, strawberry, something. The other one I can't
banana.
Remember. I can't remember. But yeah, because they've got different flavors for the ones you get, it's quite nice.
Yeah, it is. So we're really looking forward to the snack game, and we were having this conversation about whether we wanted to make any restaurant reservations, and we were like, but we could just snack our way around and just enjoy all of the snacks, and just you'll just get this feed, Michelle, of all of our snacks coming through.
Sounds absolutely perfect to me, because I am a snacker. I prefer that to the sit-down dining experience at the moment.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Tokyo, is that it's frowned upon to walk around with your food. So if you buy something, the expectation is that you, even if it's like a sidewalk kind of stand thing, is that you go find somewhere and sit down and consume it. You don't walk around eating like we would in the American parks. Yeah,
it's a very different kind of way of experiencing your snacks.
Yeah, it's like.
So that's this sort of UK time summary type of time, May. I like the fact that you're not just going to Disney and Universal, you're going to go and explore some more of the city, which I think is vital, because there are so many different things that you can go and do and explore in that part of the world.
Oh, for sure. And like we've been talking about tracking down, and they do have them. They're not very common. The onsens, which are like bathing houses, and they're generally speaking separated into male and female, so the genders are separated. And we were like, I wonder if they still have the unisex version, and they do. They're just a lot rarer because the customs have changed over time, and originally they used to be the predominant version of the onsen, so we might track down one of those. And like there's a few different things that we kind of want to do. We've got a little bit of time between where we're going to be down in Osaka before we go back up to Tokyo, and we've got about 3 nights that we want to spend somewhere, so we've got to find somewhere that we want to go to. I mean, a lot of people have said go to Kyoto, but Kyoto's so close to Osaka that we could probably do just a day trip from there. Whereas I was thinking, snow monkeys. We could go visit the snow monkeys. So go up to, I think it's Nagano that has those, or is the closest city to them. So yeah, we just got to, that's the one little final thing that we've got to book for this trip. And then we'll be set.
How very exciting. I cannot wait to live vicariously through the both of you on that travel. Where else are you going this year?
We're definitely going back to WDW. We didn't know whether it was going to happen, but it's happened. We booked in, actually the first thing that we booked in was the cruise. So we're going to go on the Wish, and we're going to go back to the parks. And it's slowly coming together because we've got this sort of mixed focus at the moment, because we know we need to get things booked, but we also have to sort of finalize things for Japan, because that's creeping up on us really quickly. We're in February, Michelle. Like, February's just about done.
It is. It's unreal that we're halfway through this month, and before you know it, it'll be your first trip back to Tokyo, and then you're going to Walt Disney World towards the end of the year, sometime in December.
Yeah, and so we'll be there over the New Year period. Really looking forward to seeing the parks with the Christmas decorations up, because that'll be a first time for us in the American park, seeing a little bit of Christmas action. So that's pretty cool. And we've got a little bit more time than we'd usually spend in the parks. I think the most time that we've spent in the parks has been 8 nights left.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But we've got 10 park days this time. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing things at a slower pace. And obviously we don't have the distraction of needing to go to the water parks, because I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit too cool to be hanging out in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tad.
Yeah. And so I think it's going to be that we're going to be able to do things at a nice pace.
Absolutely. And thinking about Walt Disney World, what is there that you've not experienced? Mickey and Minnie's?
Mickey and Minnie's. If we want to stay over in the Hollywood Studios side of things, we have not been to Galaxy's Edge.
Wow.
Done the Skyliner, haven't done their version of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, haven't done Guardians of the Galaxy, haven't done their version of Tron. So quite a few things for us to try.
Yeah, there's going to be heaps of stuff to keep us entertained, that's for sure. I'm kind of glad that we've left it this long to go back, but I can't believe it took us this long to get to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Forget that. Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be the attraction for you. Cosmic Rewind every day, at least twice. It is the medicine for a perfect Walt Disney World trip.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that we did get park hopper tickets, so we will be hopping our way through Epcot regularly, it seems. That's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's just, yeah. And it's going to be an interesting trip. We did look at staying in Disney Springs because we thought we'd do something a little bit different. But we spoke to Christine, our lovely travel agent, Christine Sir, and she said, yep, definitely can do that. There are a couple of advantages of staying at an actual Disney resort, in that you can add on things like your memory maker down the track, if you want to do dining, but we don't tend to book on dining. We tend to, unless it's like half price or free dining, we just tend to pay as we go. And so we looked at it and we thought, well, if we want to keep our options open, we might just do that. We might go and stay at a Disney resort. So we're back at Pop.
Love a good Pop trip. And bear in mind that if you want to consider getting tickets via the UK, all I can say is I've done it for my friends before, and they get on the UK ticket 14 days, currently for the price of 7, and Memory Maker is built in.
Oh, really? Oh, I might be talking to you, Michelle.
Yeah. They vary between £529 and £559 for a 2-week ticket.
That's decent, hey?
Yeah. So we'll talk off air, secrets.
We shall.
But Pop is perfect for the Skyliner.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the consideration as well, is that we've got 2 forms of transportation. Plus, we can access Lyft or Uber or whatever we can access as well, while we, if we need to get somewhere in a hurry or if we're really, really lazy.
Sounds really good. That is my best advice, is you can use all the Disney transportation. If not, an Uber, particularly if you want to go down to Disney Springs, doesn't cost a lot. And if you want to go to the outlets or anything else like a big shopping mall or anything, the Ubers are very, very, handy to have from Pop. Well, we promised a show of 30 minutes because I know you guys are on a very tight deadline. So before you whiz off to go and do some fun and stuff, would you like to tell everybody where people can find your fantastic podcast?
You can find all the Gentlemen of Pop Culture podcast, Diz Down Under, Unscripted the Film Show, and Tangent City, if we ever get around to doing another one, on all your podcast apps of choice. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, do catch up with us there.
Absolutely fantastic. Same with us. Instagram at DisDreamGirls, our website DisneyDreamGirls.com, and for extra content and to support the show financially, patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. But until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from us.
Bye.